Welcome to the M26 Fit podcast, where we explore the connection between having a strong mind and a strong body. Just like to welcome today's guest, Caroline Bird, entrepreneur, yoga instructor, mindset facilitation teacher, ice bath facilitator, breathwork coach, sound healer. That's a bit of a mouthful, Caroline. Welcome.
It certainly is. Thank you. Welcome.
All righty. Those start us off. Just give us a bit of an intro, a bit of a summary of the Caroline Bird story, if you wouldn't.
It's a bit of a story, actually. I live on the Gold Coast, and my story, well, my whole life really has there's been lots of things happen. And firstly, I was born into a bit of a grief-stricken family. So my brother passed away from leukemia when I was born. So I've always kind of felt that I'm someone that has to bring happiness and healing to people's lives. So even from such an early age, having that on me was, kind of like my calling. And I've been married. I've had 2 children, one that had congenital heart disease. So that was a lot of traumatic things happened there and lots of operations and stuff like that.
Sounds challenging as a mother.
Yeah, very challenging, but he's really good now, so which is great. I've been divorced. I've had lots of businesses, owned my own business, worked for businesses, and and then now I am remarried and very happy, which is good.
Happy ending?
Yes, happy ending. My professional career has been in travel and tourism mainly. So I did a degree in hospitality and marketing, and I've been running, resorts and retreats for nearly about 25 years. And my passion is helping people, yoga, that mindfulness, meditation, really just bringing healing, and so I've kind of combined my professional and my passion into my career as well.
Fantastic. Well, let's have a chat about that. So how, when, what got you started in that whole yoga, meditation, mindset, ice bath, breathwork space?
So all those challenges that I said prior, they kind of made me want tools to deal with these situations. So I had obviously, anxiety when Ryder was undergoing severe open heart surgeries. I had
that'd be quite normal, wouldn't it?
Yeah. But a lot of those situations, I was just like, how do you deal with this? Everyone used to say, oh, you're so strong. All the things that have been thrown at you in life. How do you deal with it? And I said, well, you just have to. You just do. But I learnt techniques and I learnt ways to cope a lot better. And some of that was obviously breathwork. Breathwork to me is, we have it inside of us and people don't know. They literally just breathe normally every day and they don't realise that they have that tool within them to really calm their nervous system. You can obviously relax more by using your breath. And, so for me, just by utilising all those amazing holistic practices, yoga in particular, I went to India for 3 weeks and once I finished my studies and I really just, put myself into that culture and learnt as much as I could about yoga and the philosophy. And that just, was so inspiring and it was such a great way for me to come back and teach others. Yeah. And
amazing experience learning from those guys over there are really big in that space, aren't they?
Amazing. Yeah, that's where yoga, started.
Was it?
India. Yeah.
Okay, yeah, that's a bit of fun fact. I didn't realise that.
Yeah. And then with the ice bath, we were talking about that earlier. I studied the Wim Hof fundamentals course and Yeah, that was incredible. So if you've never had an ice bath before, I highly recommend trying it. It kind of sounds a little bit daunting to start off with, jumping in a freezing cold bath, but the benefits, amazing. So
quick story. So my son's just ordered me one. It's going to
awesome.
be arriving in the next couple of weeks. So that's
Yay.
fraught with a bit of apprehension.
Oh, no. I'd love to have one at home. I do have one at the gym that I go to. So I often, and they also have the hot after. So you can jump in the hot tub after the cold, which is always a good combination. Yeah. And so what did your son buy you? Have you
It's
got
apparently it's a blow up one.
Oh yeah,
so,
that's good.
Able to move it around.
Yeah, I've got a couple of those that I use for retreats, so they're good. Yeah.
So I look forward to that. Now it's getting into that time of the year. Hopefully I shouldn't need as much ice in there.
Yeah, you'll need a lot of ice.
All right, let's shift the focus. Nutrition. How does that tie in for yourself personally, just in your own vitality?
Yeah, huge for me. I'm really mindful of what I put in my body. I'm really sensitive to foods, and I think that as I've got older, that's become more prominent. I can't have gluten, I can't have dairy. I'm sensitive to alcohol. I don't have coffee. So nutrition to me, I love the healthy fruit and vegetables, and just putting that food into my body that's going to give me the best outcome. So obviously high energy foods, your bananas and your blueberries and different things like that. I eat a lot of like Buddha bowls where, you have the salmon and the rice and the avocado.
Poke bowls.
Yeah. So I love all that stuff.
Yeah. Now, it's interesting you mentioned with sensitivity, because that has become very prominent in today's world with people's dietary requirements.
Yeah, it's interesting. I think, obviously food is a little bit more played with, modified, compared to when we grew up. It wasn't obviously probably sprayed as much and
That's a
different
good point.
things like that. So, but dairy, for me personally, I really can't tolerate it, and I know a lot of people that can't.
I'm the same. Yep. And there's a lot of discussion around that point as well. And I think there's been a lot of studies that have been completed that it's the one thing that hasn't got too many health benefits. Yeah.
Both my kids are sensitive to dairy as well, so not fun when they love ice cream.
No, but you can get some is it lactose free and all sorts of different.
There's so many options now. Even like you've got coconut based, almond based. Yeah. So yes, you don't have to miss.
Got options.
Got options. Yeah.
All right, retreats. Now I know that you run your own retreats and you've been a retreat facilitator. Just give us a bit of a snapshot of what typically happens on those wellness yoga type retreats, and some of the benefits do you think people have from attending?
Yeah, so I have a business called Boho Yoga, so Boho Yoga and Retreats, and I've been running that for about 15 years. My first retreat I did pretty much as soon as I finished my yoga teacher training, and I just wanted to tell everybody in the whole world, all these amazing things that I've learnt, and I wanted to show them these beautiful things that, like to have a positive mindset and how great that can be for people. So all the things I learnt, I really put into my retreats. So a typical kind of retreat is a 2 to 3 day, which I find is, a lot of people can actually attend a shorter style retreat. They can come away for a weekend. They don't have to have time off work. Yeah. And, I really have my retreats free-flowing as well. So although there's structure, they are really set out to, give as much benefit to the group. So I really just kind of play that with the groups that I have on retreat. But we do obviously things like goal setting, we do breath work, we have, the physical side where with flexibility and the yoga and doing different asanas and
Sorry, just to what's an asana?
Asana. So an asana is a yoga pose.
Oh, okay.
So teaching those asanas at the retreats, and then you can kind of put it all together in a nice flow at the end of retreat. And, so really suitable for beginners that have never been on retreat before, and then, obviously advanced as well. Yeah, which is good. But the things that I kind of notice the most, and this is where, for me, it's so valuable and such a passion for me to be doing retreats, is how I see the guests, after retreat, how they feel. And, they come in sometimes quite stressed out. They come in with like that weight on their shoulders where they've, got obviously lots of things going on in their lives, and by the time they walk out, you see the smile on their face. You see that that baggage has been lifted.
The glow.
Yeah, the glow. And it's interesting to see how no matter what group I've had on retreat, they all seem to get along and become friends for life. So that's, that's such a lovely space that you can create for people as well, that, they feel comfortable in their setting, because, on retreat there's quite a bit of emotion. People come to heal. And
what about energy levels? Do you find that people, obviously, when they're turning up and they're quite stressed out and feel quite weighted, that at the end of that 2-3 days that there's a really noticeable boost in their energy, do you think?
Absolutely. Huge boost. They'll kind of come in and, they might be a little bit nervous coming on retreat, not knowing anybody, and, feeling a little bit sluggish and, wanting to, on their free time, just kind of go and sleep or whatever. But by the time of it, at the end of the retreat, they're enlightened. They, they feel that beautiful energy of everybody, and, the healing and everything that they've just done over that whole weekend has, made them feel energised and happy.
Yeah, no, that's fantastic. I'm loving your passion as you're telling the story too, so it's wonderful. Yeah. Just on nutrition, back on nutrition, so with the nutrition during those retreats, is that sort of fairly structured as well? So obviously people are eating those right foods to be encouraging the relaxation and...
Yeah, I always have a chef that that does vegetarian food mainly, because I find that throughout those retreats, really being able to give in those, green leafy vegetables, the different, the high nutrition foods throughout that time. Also juicing, trying to limit alcohol, limit coffee intake, just, almost detoxing in a way from foods that they would normally have at home. So those really healthy options in the retreat menu. And, there's I've had a lot of guys that have come on retreat and gone, oh, where's the steak? But, by the end of the time, they're like, wow, I'm not even thinking about meat anymore. It's, the food has been so good. And I always get compliments on the food. So,
that's fantastic. Yeah. All right. Well, let's jump into the M26 in 26, those 26 questions in 26 minutes. You ready?
Oh, I'm ready.
All right, goals, aspirations. Caroline, what do yours look like for 2023 and maybe beyond?
Yeah, well, I love travel. So travel's a big thing for me. So for me, yeah.
Where do you like to go? What are some of the destinations that are your favourites?
Well, I just went to Bali. So I just got back about 3 weeks ago from Bali. Love Bali.
Yeah. Well, Bali's a bit of a destination for people in retreats as well, isn't it?
Definitely, yeah. And I've actually been looking at that for 2023 and beyond, to set up some really good Bali retreats. I've mainly done my retreats here in Australia. I have done a few. I've done some in Vanuatu, but mainly here in Australia. I'd really love to bring those retreats to
a different country,
to
different
countries.
Culture.
Yeah. And, travel in Europe. Love Europe. I've seen that you've just been over there and had an amazing time.
Yeah. No, I'm a bit of a fan of the Northern Hemisphere and the cold, and it was great to catch up with family as well. So that's always a bonus if you're able to tie in a bit of family with a bit of fun.
Definitely. Yeah.
All right. So smartest person you've sat in a room with?
My father. So even as a young girl, I've always been inspired by my father, his wealth of knowledge. I could have just asked him anything as a young child, and he would know the answer. So he's always been.
Wow.
The one
So
I
what's
think
his
he's the
background?
smartest. He is a scientist by background. Yeah, well, chemist actually.
Wow.
Yeah.
So he's a smart guy.
Yeah.
The most important lesson that you've ever learned, do you think?
That through trials and tribulations, it can make you grow and become a better person.
Yeah, okay. Well said. Your definition of discipline, Caroline?
The bridge between goals and accomplishments.
Okay. That's interesting. I haven't heard that that you used like that before. That's interesting.
Yeah, well, I think, with discipline, you can have your goal, but without that discipline, you might not accomplish what that goal is. So really, the discipline is going to get you the end goal.
Yeah, get you that bridge across to it. The greatest decision you've ever made?
To follow God and my faith.
Okay.
Yeah. I have a huge faith. Yeah. And without my faith, I honestly don't think I would be where I am today.
Yeah. No, I'd agree with that. 3 words to describe your life right now.
Oh, that's kind of hard because although I'm very happy, my life is very hectic.
It is.
Business and pleasure. But I am content.
Yeah. Okay. Cool. What gives you inspiration?
Making people happy, travel, and success. Seeing successful people really inspires me. Yeah, okay. Like if I'm kind of feeling down sometimes, I can put on one of those YouTube things of someone inspiring and I'm like, okay, that makes me feel good.
yeah, fair enough. On success, how would you, I guess, define success in your opinion? Because everybody, I think, has got a different understanding of what their view of success is. Some people think, it's finances but
For me, it would be happiness. Like you can have all the money in the world, but unless you're happy. Being fulfilled and your health, having a really good health is, I find,
I think health is everything. I believe that we've had discussions around this previously with other guests as well, but just if you don't have your health, you've got nothing. Absolutely. And unfortunately, I think there's a lot of people in society today that are too focused on building their wealth, and it comes as a consequence to their health.
Absolutely.
And having all the money in the world, it's not going to help you too much if you're laying in a hospital bed at age 60 and not being able to enjoy that wealth in your later years. So
time freedom for me. So having that work-life balance is really important.
I heard a good one on that the other day, and rather than this guy was saying that in the last 10 years, it's not as much of a work-life balance, but work-life fusion. So you're able to sort of tie the two in. So I just thought, for example, with you, you've got that passion for travelling and then doing the retreats, and if you're able to do retreats abroad, then you kind of got that.
I get to combine my travel and my...
Get the fusion.
Yes, the fusion. I like that.
There you go. Do you have a favourite saying?
Favourite saying? Win the morning, win the day.
Yeah, okay.
I've got a few favourites, but that's my big one.
Yeah, I think that's that quote. Is that out of that 5 a.m. club?
I'm not sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, for me, like if I start the day right, getting up early, jumping in the ocean. I live 2 minutes walk to the ocean, so getting in that water is just it's my medicine.
Yeah, it's a little bit of a dream of mine. Like 2 minutes from the beach and being able to start every day with a bit of a wander is a bit of blessing.
Definitely. Oh, well, that's your goal.
So tell us something you love and something that you don't love.
Okay. Something I love, travel. That's my number one. My family, my friends. Something I don't love, is being unorganised. Yeah, I really find that irritating. I have to have structure. Yeah. I have to plan. You know, even in my work life, I literally have lists of, you know, what needs to kind of happen on a daily basis. So.
Yeah, my wife's the same. She's very much a list person.
Yes,
so there's another one.
And she's an Excel person. I like that. She taught me a few things actually, Amanda.
She
being
taught
organised.
She taught me a fair bit. She's an absolute Excel whiz.
She's amazing.
What are you passionate about?
Passionate about really helping people and inspiring people with health, wellness, and you know, their mentality. So their mindset, hence why I love the retreats and those holistic practices.
Yeah. I could just imagine, I just thought then, you know, at the end of one of those retreats, and like you said, I think that when you're instilling that positive change in people and they've turned up feeling one way, and then after spending some time with yourself and the group and the connection with that group and being able to finish up with that glow and that revitalisation of energy and peace and happiness is would be very, very fulfilling.
It's so fulfilling. Yeah, it really, you know, it drives me. It inspires me by seeing others. Yeah. You know.
Yeah, how good. And we've got a deep question now. So just sharing a major setback or a challenge, either personally or privately, and how and what got you through it.
As I said before, my son Ryder, you know, from basically a week old, undergoing major open heart surgery. And the way that I got through that was through my faith, and also through, you know, just those calming, you know, relaxation, meditating, learning breathwork. So all those things really helped me through that. You know, it was such a challenging time. His last open heart, I think, was 7 or 8. So I had 7 or 8 years of pretty full-on times there with him. He's now nearly 17 and, hasn't had anything since then. He goes and does his yearly checkups, but, yeah, so thankful too.
So as he's grown older, it's become better?
Well, he's had the operations to
rectify.
Yeah, to kind of manage how his heart operates. It's very, very interesting how his heart operates. His heart doesn't pump his blood around his body. It trickles through this little plastic kind of titanium pipe. Modern medicine, oh my goodness, like crazy.
Wow. I just, let's come back to that breathwork, because I've just actually finishing listening to that Wim Hof's book, and the understanding of some of that breathwork, in particular, being able to do it anywhere. And for mine, it's practical. With meditating, you're forcing yourself not to think about anything, and that can be really difficult, particularly when you're going through those challenging times. But to have an actual physical activity of, right, this is what you need to do, you need to breathe. And, it's something that's on my list of making that part of my morning ritual.
And really you can do it anywhere. Like even on my drive from the Gold Coast to Brisbane here today, I did breathwork. So while I'm driving in traffic, you know, there's some certain breaths that can just, you know, calm down your nervous system. They can make you feel more relaxed. You know, it's so powerful.
Well, maybe we'll get you to do a little, next time you're doing a little breathwork session, maybe you can get that on a bit of film for us if you don't
I'd
mind.
love to, absolutely.
Fantastic. Mindset. How does your mindset impact your overall vitality and well-being?
Well, I always use the saying, you are what you think. And for me, that positive mindset is so important to have a positive life. Yeah. You know, if you're just thinking negative all the time, what's the outcome going to be? You know, negative. So, yeah, it's really important. And, you know, sometimes you do have to pull yourself out of that negative. It is, you know, harder sometimes to think positive than it is the negative. But, being mindful of how your thoughts and how you think is really important.
Yeah. So what do you think, just on that, so what's one thing do you think that we could all be doing right now just to improve that, our mental health, our mental fitness, I guess? What would you say?
I would say learn breath work.
So you think breathwork could be a start?
Breathwork, definitely. For me, that is because it's so easy to tap into.
Yeah.
You know, you've got we breathe every day, but we don't necessarily breathe to benefit us.
Yeah. So you can't pull the car over and pull the yoga mat out and to
yeah.
get over a negative situation.
Exactly,
but the breathing.
Stop, breathe, and just relax. Yeah.
Wow. Should be a good answer for the great advice. So we'll get to that. So describe your definition of happiness. I think we've already touched on it.
Happiness for me is, being content. Traveling, as I've mentioned, is a huge thing for me. And, having my family happy, those around me happy, makes me happy.
Yeah. Just that inner circle, the importance of that has, it's a huge impact for me as well. I think, trying to live a positive life when you're surrounded with a bunch of negative creatures can be quite challenging.
Difficult.
100%. Your daily morning routine, Caroline, what's that look like?
Well, for example, even this morning, my first thing I do is I get out of bed and walk to the beach.
Stop it.
Yes, which is great. Generally do about an hour walk, and then so we'll walk up to kind of the end of Summit Mermaid Beach, walk to the end of Miami, and then walk back and jump in the ocean, and then come back and start my day. So I start work at 8, so I'm usually up at 5:30, 6 o'clock doing the walk and then doing the swim, and then on the desk by 8 a.m. for a full day of work.
What a great way to start the day. I need to move down the coast. The best advice that you've ever received?
There's lots of advice, but for me, that would be really live your best life. So you only live once. Make it count. In love, in health, in your well-being, really live your best life.
Biggest regret? Do you have any regrets?
I actually don't have any regrets. I often think about this, and I think there's certain things I would change, but they're not a regret, they're just a lesson for me.
I was going to say I've heard other responses to that question where it's every situation that's happened has made you who you are today. So
absolutely.
If that being the case, then it shouldn't be a regret. It's just part of the journey.
Yeah.
And so we covered morning routine, but what's an average week in the life of Caroline Bird look like?
It can vary so much.
Wow.
Yeah, which is
consistent?
Not that consistent. At the moment, I'm, running a resort. That's my day-to-day. So that is 24/7, very hectic. But when I do have my time off, I really make my time off count. So, 1 week I might be full on, 80 hours plus a week with tourism, and then the next week I might be over in Bali, for example. So, I find that, if I didn't have that travel and I just worked all the time, we were talking before about that work-life balance, I wouldn't be sustainable. So
so it's pretty full on, and then it's
and then I
good.
and then I get that time off.
How many yoga sessions would you do a week?
I'd have my own practice, so I generally do after I've done my swim, even if it's just a 20-minute practice. I will do that most mornings. For me, I was teaching 2 to 3 times a week, but obviously with my professional career in tourism, it hasn't allowed me to teach now, which is unfortunate, but that is my goal, to get back teaching again. So I generally go to other classes now, which I really like being a student. It's good. It's like
less pressure.
No pressure, and I can actually just enjoy the practice. Yeah, so that's really good.
I could just imagine, like, when you're doing the class, even though you get to participate in the class, when your focus is on how everybody else is travelling and adjusting this position and doing this and helping people out, you're obviously not having that same experience of that you'd normally get from a yoga session. So
yeah, no, it is nice to be a student every now and then.
yeah, it is. Where are you in 5 years?
In 5 years, I'd love to be on a yacht, travelling the world.
You guys did that last year, didn't you? You spent a bit of time on a big yacht.
Yeah, we chartered a yacht in the Whitsundays for a week.
Nice.
And the best thing about that was I didn't have to think. I didn't have to think about, what needs to be done today, you know, these people checking in, or is this happening or that happening, or the kids need fed. We just sat out on the Whitsunday Islands, jumping off the boat, swimming with turtles, fishing, and I was just like, oh my goodness, this is life.
It looked amazing.
Freedom. Yeah.
So that we could find you
so
in 5 years.
Yes, so you never know. But obviously with my retreats, I really want to ramp that up, as I said before, and start getting those overseas retreats. Into the calendar for, end of 2023 and 2024. So watch this space. You'll have to come on a retreat with me.
No, definitely. No, well, you did a day retreat up at the Ridget Mullaney last year that I had the pleasure of attending, and it was just amazing, even just for one day, and then finishing it off, sitting around the bonfire. And it's just, a bit of acoustic guitar. It was just, I can still remember just that relaxing, rejuvenating feeling from even just a day. And
definitely. And sometimes that's all it needs, just to take yourself out of your daily routine and to go and do something like that. So I highly recommend everyone, if you get a chance to do even just a day, if you can't get away on a full retreat. And the Ridget Mullaney, what a property. Amazing.
We should do that again.
Yes, I know. I love it. So beautiful up there. Being in nature and
there's something about being up in the mountains and sitting under a tree. Like, I love the beach as well, but I've just found there's just something, and it's difficult to describe, just that feeling you get up in the mountains and back in nature. And
whenever I drive up there, my dad obviously is in Mullaney, as you know, and whenever I go up there, I'm just like blown away by the beauty of the mountains and that fresh air, and it's beautiful. I love it.
Stunning, yeah. What makes you laugh?
My husband, he's a very funny man.
Old Damo, he is a funny man.
He is, yeah. He keeps me grounded and keeps me laughing, which is good.
Yeah, perfect. Laughter's an awesome thing too, isn't it?
Yeah.
What's something you're really proud of, Caroline?
I'm really proud of my children and who they are as people. They have that really kind, caring nature, and that makes me proud. You see they're polite, they have a million friends, they're both very, very social. So I'm really proud of who they are.
Yeah, no, I would agree. It'd be the same for me, and I think as a parent and the time and the effort and the energy that goes into raising your children, if they can sort of turn out a little bit like you imagined, is a pretty fulfilling experience.
Oh, definitely.
A good habit and a bad habit.
Good habit. My morning routines. Yeah, that's such a good habit. Bad habit. Maybe procrastinating a little bit. Yeah.
Okay,
but it's not really a habit, but just sometimes I'll,
It's not as decisive as you'd like to be.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's not bad.
Yeah.
But you've got a fantastic morning routine. A routine I think a lot of people would aspire to.
Yeah, and my procrastinating is probably nothing compared to, but for me, but I'm like those morning routines and I love being organised. So.
Yeah, no, it sounds like it. So you've just trekked up, you'd mentioned, from the Gold Coast to Brisbane to be with us this morning.
Yes.
So you might have passed a few billboards. If you had your own billboard on the M1, what do you think that might say?
Look up and live. Yep. So really, look up, live your best life.
A game-changing tip or advice that you've got for us?
I would say to prioritise your health and fitness is one of the most important things, obviously, to live your best life.
Yeah. To live a long life.
Long life, yeah.
So people taking better care of themselves.
Better care of themselves, yeah. Being mindful of, your nutrition, as we discussed.
We've only got one body.
Yep. Yeah, without your health, you've really not got anything, have you?
Yeah, no, well said. Okay, last question. Finish this sentence. I believe.
I believe by doing yoga, breathwork, meditating, that you can really calm your body, you can energize your soul, and as we were just saying, you can live your best life. So really focusing on those things.
Yeah. Fantastic. Well, it's been an absolute pleasure having you in today, Caroline, and thanks for making the pilgrimage up from the Gold Coast. And
it's a pleasure to be here. Pleasure to see you again.
Awesome. Have a fantastic week. We wish you every success in 2023 and beyond. And look forward to the invite to the retreat over in Bali.
Yes, absolutely. That's exciting.
Yeah, awesome. Thanks, Caroline.
Thanks, Magnus. Appreciate it.
Thank you for joining in on today's episode. And I hope this Strong Mind, Strong Body series empowers and inspires you. Make sure you've subscribed to our channel and leave a comment if you enjoyed today's podcast. You can also check out our website for more info about M26 Fit at m26fit.au.